Well, welcome, Traver, to the Men's Couch Podcast, a podcast on men's mental health,
Mm.
masculinity, and just authentic friendship. So, this is something that I've been doing for 3 years. Wait, 3 years? Almost 2 years. And yeah, I'm excited to get more people to be reaching out to me and doing outreach with different professionals, authors, psychologists. It's really like a networking opportunity. I see it for Men's Couch, and yeah, it's really cool. I feel like this is really kind of becoming something bigger than what I imagined.
Good for
I
you.
I was a bit hesitant to even start a podcast on men's mental health, but given the feedback, is still pushing me to talk about it.
Good. It's a huge topic. It's a very underspoken about topic, Micah. So
Yeah,
you're in the right conversation.
yeah. So wait, Traver, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself and why you're assistant or why you reached out to Men's Couch?
For the past 8 years, I have run a men's movement, and the goal is to have a men's group in every major city in the world. So if there's ever a guy finding himself struggling or needing men to talk to, or wanting to have conversations that men tend to only be able to have with other men, as well as a place where men could find other men who are on a similar path. That's what I've been doing for almost a decade. So
Wow,
anyone
it's
I can talk
wow.
to who's in the men's mental health space, because that is the real thing that like hurts us or makes us, Micah, is our
Mhm.
mental health.
Yeah.
Like how many guys do we know that make a ton of money and are not well, or they commit suicide, or they're
Yeah, it's
famous and they're miserable, right?
yeah, it's
It's
super
so much of it
common.
comes back to up here.
Yeah, it's super common. What are like the have you had like a group in Pittsburgh? I live in Pittsburgh.
I
Or
don't
is
think
it
we've
just
had a group in Pittsburgh.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so have you what like you've had groups like in New York or just like the major cities of
New York, LA, Chicago, Tokyo, Australia, New Zealand, England, Finland, Spain, a
wow.
lot of places all over the US because, I'm in the US.
Mhm.
Anywhere someone's willing to sit down and say, hey, I want to get 5 or 6 guys together twice a month, once every 3 weeks, and have an honest conversation, an authentic conversation about how are you really doing?
Yeah,
How can we
it's
support
needed.
you? It's super needed.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is my hope that my generation, like Gen Z, is spearheading the conversation. I feel like with just a lot of things we have to kind of overcome in that way that we could have for it to be normalized,
Hmm.
seen as like a day-to-day thing instead of like I was talking to some people and I was talking to this one psychologist who said that men don't like start talking to like other men about what's going on until like they hit like a very like crisis point, and that's not something that I feel like we need to have more of a preventative measure or just have like that community already in place.
Definitely. Guys will talk with other guys if it's intentional, if you bring them together for a certain reason. There's something that happens, Mike. I've led groups for, I said, almost a decade now, and workshops where we'd bring guys together in 2 minutes of just being like, who struggles with this? Raise
Yeah,
your hand. Who struggles with this? Raise your hand. Who struggles with this? Raise your hand. And then here's the follow up question: who thought they were the only guy in the room who ever had an issue with alcohol? Whoever had an issue with drugs, whoever had an issue with porn, ever had an issue with sex, with gambling, or whatever? Who thought you were going to be the only one who had your hand up? And every single guy raises their hand.
yeah,
For some
yeah.
reason, we think we're the only ones who are struggling ever.
Yeah, I think that one thing is to struggle and one thing is to feel like you're alone so much so that you don't even like there's like this unspoken rule to not even open up or not even say anything because you want to look, I guess, competent. There's like this,
Hmm.
inherent masculine pressure to look competent. And so if you were to say anything, then it's like, well, am I enough to overcome this battle? Because I feel like we think our battles, our like shadows are very like our solo things that we need to confront by ourselves when really like when we don't think of it as like as a community, how can we confront the
Yeah, we have this interesting bias. What are you studying in school right now?
I'm studying, psychology.
At any point in your life where you're like, I know the path to becoming a really good therapist, All I have to do is sit alone, read books, learn from no one, go to no classes, talk to
Yeah.
no people, and I will be great at this. Probably not, right? I've been in jujitsu for 20 years. At no point when I was thinking about getting good at jujitsu, it was like, I know how to do this. I just sit alone in my garage and I think about jujitsu, right? That'd be ludicrous. But yet, when there are certain things on the inside, hey, how do I overcome depression? How do I work with anxiety? How do I work with trauma or hurts or wounds or pains from my past? Things I feel insecure about myself. We have this imaginary belief that if as long as I just keep quiet about it and work on it on my own,
Yeah.
that it'll go away. And again, that nobody else in the world has it.
Yeah,
That's a false belief men have.
I think it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. If we have an issue and we work on it by ourselves, we work so hard to overcome it, but we kind of like because you can't really like do everything by yourself. We're not overcoming our battles, and then we get into like this isolation mode where we think we're more prone to think that we're the only person struggling with this because we're not seeking out other guys.
100%. 100%. And the lone wolf mentality is often celebrated. I don't know if you see this with your generation, but I will see a lot of like advertisements for programs or for ideas, and it's like men disappear for 6 months, do 1,000 push-ups a day and 500 sit-ups, and study Bitcoin, and then come back and you'll be a god. And my question is always like, well, why can't you just do that and hang out with your friends? Why
Yeah,
can't you do 1,000 push-ups with a brother, with a buddy, with around women? Why do I have to go
yeah,
live in a cave for 6 months and do all my push-ups and sit-ups and study Bitcoin? Why can't I be relational? We're relational beings as
yeah. I
humans.
think I think we kind of I don't know how I get this. I think we forget that we're relational, and we also forget that it's like it's just a biological need to have other people around us. Or we're not really, like, socialized to learn that we need other people in the way that women are. 'Cause
Mhm,
when I talk to my female friends, it's just kind of like just like second nature.
mhm.
But, like, if I talk to my guy friends, it's more of, like, you have to be more so intentional about developing relationships because it's not necessarily second nature.
What's interesting though? We'll go play pickup basketball. We'll go play a sport or do an activity that's inherently communal and be like, cool, I do this every Thursday night. I go play pickup basketball with random guys I don't know and guys I do know. But then
Mhm.
when we have a challenge, that's when we disappear and isolate. So
Yeah.
it's almost like we do know how to be communal. We do know how to be relational. As long as the rules are set ahead of time, and we understand where we fit in that dynamic. Where
Yeah.
I think a lot of guys trip up is they go, "Well, I have no model for how I approach my 3 best friends and say, hey guys, I'm really dealing with depression right now
Mhm.
and I don't know what to do, and I don't want you to tell me just to man up. I don't want you to take me out drinking to because I'm just in a funk. I don't want
Yeah.
you to tell me just to go have sex with women. I really need you just to pick up the phone at 2 o'clock in the morning if I'm ever in trouble. Will you do that?" Like, we don't see that very often, or at least a lot of men have never seen that. Or they'll get shamed for the weakness.
Mhm.
Society will say, if men have a problem, it's our problem. A lot of
Yeah.
times, if women have an issue, it's a societal issue. So we as a group need to address it. But if men are depressed, it's like, well, that's your problem, brother. You got to go take care of that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not seen as, like, a sociological thing, it's just seen as that's just like that's just his own personal thing, he can deal with it. But
Yeah.
I think there's a lot more I think there's a lot of, like, rigidness in
Mm.
like, what you mentioned, like, the for example, like, the basketball thing where people are expected to show up a certain way or just they're expected to like, that expectation creates, like I feel like it creates a false sense of safety or social safety, but
Hmm.
they're not really, like you can't really answer the question, like, "Well, do they really know me, or is this
Hmm.
just, like, what type of level of vulnerability is here?"
Right. I have a teacher and a mentor, Micah. His name's Dewey Freeman, and he's an equine therapist. So he works with horses. And he says that horses have two main drives. They need to know that they feel safe in a pack, and they need to know where they fit in. And I was like, when he first told me that, I was like, that's all of us.
Yeah.
And if we think of the pickup basketball game, you know where you fit in, like you've picked it, you're on a team, and you feel safe because you've done this 500 times. But
Mhm.
what we haven't done again is pulled one of those guys after the game to the side and said, "Man, I've been drinking way too much and I think I may need some help. Will you help me?" Then suddenly that man may not feel safe, and both guys don't really know where they fit in that dynamic because they
Yeah.
haven't heard that before.
Yeah, it's almost like, well, I don't r yeah, I mean, you don't really know what to do unless you're like us who've been kind of spearheading spaces where men can be vulnerable. I feel like a
Mhm.
lot of people don't really know what to do when a friend is saying something to them, or they don't know what to do when they are opening up to a friend. They don't know how to, like, follow up with that.
Yeah.
So, it kinda creates this sort of like embarrassment or like shame of like, I shouldn't have said
Mhm.
anything. I shouldn't have opened up like that.
Yeah. I think relational skills should be taught in high school.
Yeah.
This is how you have a
You could say
hard
that again.
conversation. Practice with Bob. This is
Yeah.
how you ask so and so for help. Practice with Susan. Just we
Yeah.
have no modeling for it and almost no practice. And then guys get out in the real world, and it's like, hey, you got to man up. You got to deal with that. No one cares about your problems. No one's going to come help you. When in essence, there are so many people available to help, or so many people who are willing to help, as long as that man is willing to one, admit that he needs the help, and then two, go seek the help. It's there.
Yeah. I think for my generation, for Gen Z, I would say it's not necessarily like totally the pressure of um like a traditional masculinity, but it's more of how do I look? Like
Mm,
this idea, like how do I look? It's more like a self-consciousness, like how do I look to other people? Uh,
mm,
do I look like accomplished? Some aspects can get into social media a little bit, but it's like people don't really know how to exist without performing in a way, performing and like trying to please other people, trying to be someone that they're not,
yeah.
and they don't know how to exist as their self without either feeling like they need to offer something
Mm,
or be like the helper. I feel like at least a lot of men that I know feel like they always have to like help everyone.
mhm.
It's just not it's a good I would say like the desire to help people is good, but that shouldn't be like your identity.
And it just needs to be coming from the right place.
Yeah.
If it's I'm abundant and I have time and I have the energy and you and I have a relationship, then I'd love to help you. But if it's
Mhm.
coming from, oh man, Mike is not going to think I'm a good person, or
Yeah.
I really want something from him in return, but I'm not going to ask him for it directly. So it's really about the intention. And I'm also curious with guys who are really stuck in an over-giving, over-helping frame. What do
Yeah.
you want for yourself? What do you want for your life? Because as men, that is the path that we have to carve out. We have to figure out, what do I want to do with all this time? What do I want to do with this ability? What is the
Uh-huh.
gift that I was given that I came here to share with the world?
Yeah.
Is it just to help everybody move and run around, take care of everybody? Which eventually I work a lot with that nice guy community. That
Yeah.
crashes down at some point pretty hard.
Yeah, I think a lot of I think, like, that's the masculine pressure for my generation is, like, that, like, nice guy I guess the mask of the nice guy or
Mm,
the people pleaser feeling like they need to be everyone's hero,
yeah.
and what I see is, like, a lot of, like, burnout and resentment. You know, guys start to resent the people around them, they start to, like, resent themselves and, like, their relationships around them because they've
Mhm.
been so focused on helping someone else, and
Right.
that's kind of become, like, the defining feature of their relationships, and
Yeah.
that's not how we thrive.
It's give and take. And those guys, I bless them, right? I was one. I said I work with these guys a lot professionally, and their intention is beautiful. I want to help. I want to be of service. I want to give, but they haven't learned to give back to themselves first.
Yeah.
They haven't learned to say, you know what, man, I only have $1. I can't give you three. Or I'm
Mhm.
giving you this dollar in hopes that you give me two back. Because instead, what they should do is say, hey, man, I would love your help this weekend. I have this thing going on where I need to take care of myself right
Mhm.
now. I just can't do it. I don't have the ability or the energy or whatever it
Or
is
the
to,
capacity.
to give to you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, what I've done, because a few things that I've like considered recently is that the community that I'm building is getting very big, and that can be like a lot for me because as someone that like is kind of started a community, not like a men's college community, but separate community on campus. And that can kind of weigh heavily on me, and so recently I realized that, wait a second, like what I don't have the appropriate boundaries to keep my energy up for myself.
Mhm.
Then I'm like coming home during spring break. I need like 2 days of sleep. Like I've been carrying so much of because
Mhm.
we don't realize that burnout isn't just like you physically, it's not just a physical thing, it's more of like the emotional weight that you carry. Especially if you're, like, someone that is, like, a community builder or a therapist or, like, works in ministry or any, like, kind of helper role, you kinda, like, have to realize that this is good, what I'm doing is good, but I'm also carrying a lot. What can I do to kind of, um, maintain my energy? Recently, it's just been accepting that I don't have I don't have the capacity for everything and everyone. I'm not God, I can't be everywhere. That's just been sometimes, like, practically speaking, it's just letting text messages go through and not even answering. Like, I just
Mhm.
don't have the capacity, and that's just it takes a lot, especially if you're, like, a people pleaser, it takes a lot because you kind of run by guilt a lot, and you're not giving into the compulsion to, like, respond to everyone's needs
Mhm.
so quickly, because that burns yourself you get burnt
Burns you
out.
out. Yeah. And you gotta start to be able to answer the question, Mike, especially as your communities get bigger and there's more and more pulls on you, who takes care of you?
Yeah,
If you're running around taking care of everybody, who takes care of you? And it's a big question for a lot of people who are in positions of leadership where they're also the emotional holder of the group.
yeah,
You need an
yeah,
assistant, you need a team, you need people who to say, if you look at really, really powerful men specifically who run big organizations or run big groups, they have someone in between them and the public. And that person's like, nope, John's not available right now
yeah,
because otherwise John would be working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So he's hired someone and be like, you're the enforcer, you're the block, you're the one who says, no, I can't right now.
yeah, you have to do that, and, like, recently, because, like, my I didn't like, listen, like, men's couch, it's very meaningful. That's something that has gotten very big within the past year, and also the, community that I made on campus has also gotten very big to the point where, like, when I'm having people over, sometimes it's, like, 15 people at, like, my on-campus apartment. So, what I'm starting to realize is that because before, I was only, like, around maybe, like, a few people, but now that it's, like, all these people, the problem isn't the people, the problem is how am I able to hold space for myself? Because I'm holding space for other people that are coming over. How am I
Mhm.
holding space for myself? And recently, because I took a break from, therapy, so recently I went back to therapy because I realizing that I don't have a space for myself. I need to create space where I could just be whatever. Like, I don't have to, like, always be on, and I don't always have to, produce something. I need a space where I could just
Exists.
exist, say whatever the heck
Yeah.
is on my mind.
Good for you, man. That's a great start.
Yeah, so I don't know, I think that's one that might be a problem with how Gen Z men approach their masculinity is, like, we don't know how to I feel like we don't know how to rest, and we don't know
Mm.
how to exist without, like, performing. I don't know how it is, like, with millennials or, like, older generations, but that's just something that I've seen in my generation.
It's gonna become the practice then. So for you younger guys listening, you first have to take care of you,
Mhm.
right? Have you flown on an airplane? You
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
What's the thing they say about the oxygen mask? When it comes down, you have to put
Yeah.
yours on first. Then you get to help other people with theirs. They've been saying that same message for the 45 years I've been flying. It's that idea comes back to the same for us as men. Our job is to serve. Our job is to protect. Our job is to be there and create structure in the chaos of the world. But to do that, we have to be well resourced.
Mhm.
And so we are responsible, or responsible, have our brothers be responsible with us to say, when are you at your best? When you are fully resourced. Now, there are times when you're just going to give and give and give. That's okay. There's times when a lot of people may need something from you, and you have the juice, you have the energy, you have the capacity to give to them. And then the maturity comes in when you say, now I need to take a step back and I
Yeah.
need to recharge. Or again, Micah, you have a brother that's like, hey, man, I've watched you run this group for 6 weeks now, and I'm seeing you get depleted. What I'm going to ask you to do for me and everybody in your community is to take next week off and say, like, hey, no meeting next week, no interviews next week. Why? I need to get my system back regulated. I need to be resourced again. That's
Yeah.
maturity, right? And it takes, for lack of a better term, fucking it up a couple times. That's how we learn, right? You fall flat on your face, like, okay, now I know what's tripping me up. But
Yeah.
this, for you guys and for you younger guys listening, it's a very powerful skill to develop, to note when, like, hey, I'm at my strongest. I've eaten well, I've slept well, I'm working out, there's money in the bank, I know what I'm doing with myself. And so do I get to hold that perfectly all the time? No.
Yeah.
I have a lot of pulls on my time and energy too. Thousands of people who want stuff from me. So there are times when I just go, cool, guess what? Doors are closed. I have
Yeah.
to take care of myself.
Yeah, I think it's about understanding your limits are not the same as other people.
Mhm.
You like I have my roommate is a complete opposite. He's an extrovert, loves people, likes to do whatever. And I'm like the complete opposite. I'm more like introverted. I like to be around people, but like I have like a social limit. So instead of trying to live up to his standard, it's better for me to ask, like, what is my limits? What can I handle? And just because there's less doesn't mean it's like a not like bad.
It's different.
It's different.
It's just different. When you know your skills and you know yourself and you know yourself well, that becomes a superpower.
Yeah.
Because you're right, you're not trying to do things that other people I can't draw, I can't sing, but I can write and speak really, really well. Now, if I was running around trying to draw what I was thinking all the time, I wouldn't get anywhere. If I was trying to
Right.
sing everything that I was trying to explain, I wouldn't get anywhere. But I know people who sing and draw really, really well,
Yeah.
but they don't write and speak the way I do. Stick to your talents, Micah. Stick to what you know. Like, hey, I'm an introvert. That means I do get depleted when I'm around a lot of humans for too long, and I
Mhm.
need to retract and get resourced. That's okay. Your roommate, if you locked him in a room for 3 days by himself,
He would not like that. I think
he would get depleted.
Yeah, and speaking of, like, friendship, it really I think that, like, being friends with him, because I was very, like, avoidant when it came to asking for help, when it came to seeking assistance from people, and when I, like, met him, like, I think it was, like, the first couple days of getting to know him, he asked me
Mm,
if he could help me move in, and I'm like, "No, I'm fine, like, I don't need help." And, like, for like, the first few months of knowing him, he kind of, like, jokingly forced his way into, like, helping me with anything, whether it be
mhm,
emotional support, moving in, starting college. It's like it kind of forced me to get out of my avoidance and my, tendency to always, like, rely on myself in a way, and
mhm,
it taught me how to lean on other people.
hmm. Good, 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 good. Yeah, what a beautiful medicine he brought to you.
Yeah. But yeah, I've also, like, I meant to ask you what inspired you to start Uncivilized?
I went through a lot of loss, Micah. I was married, my ex-wife was pregnant, I had this great business. I kinda had hit the pinnacle of male success, right? I kinda
Mhm.
had it all, and then I lost it very quickly, and it made me just start asking different questions. Questions such as, "Who actually am I?" I was 40 years old when that all happened, and the best question was, "Who am I as a man?" And I started thinking about this and reading books about it and going to workshops about it. This was, a decade ago. And the more men I interacted with, the less I felt like I had a real grasp on that question. Of like, I know who I am as a man. I know why I'm here. I know what I'm here to do. And so I started just putting out a little bit of content saying, "Hey, here's the journey I've been on. Maybe you can relate." And I just got flooded with thousands and thousands of guys saying, "Holy
Yeah,
crap, I've been waiting for someone to speak about it this way." To blend the
yeah,
two ideas of masculinity of like the traditional, powerful, strong, etc., the primal. You can see the gorilla behind me, and
yeah,
then the divine, the Buddha behind me. The emotional, the relational, the sensitive, the softer. Like masculinity is on such a massive spectrum. It covers
yeah.
everything.
I feel like um people don't see it that way. They see it as like one way, and if you diverge from the norm, you're not a man, or you're not masculine enough. So that's
I'm
yeah.
not interested in the norm. I think the norm is boring as shit. I want to take the two ends of the spectrum and say everything in between is powerful. And
Yeah,
you as a man, if it's conscious and intentional, get to be on the far end of the spectrum or the far end of the spectrum. Or you get to be in the middle, or you get to have some of your personality over here and some over here. You get to express yourself in the exact way that your heart and your soul as a man desires. And it's not going
yeah,
to look like anybody else's.
yeah.
And that's perfect.
I think the issue is like men feeling safe enough to do that, because I think men like adopt identities that aren't really true to their core.
Mm.
So the issue is like feeling safe to step outside of the rigidness, and also being able to exist as themselves and not performing. That's another issue. And I think, and sometimes it's just even like they've been performing for so long that they're not even connected to their core self.
Yeah, ask him, who are you performing for?
Yeah.
Right? At the end of the day, it's your head on the pillow. It's you looking in the mirror and saying, I love this man. I appreciate this man. I
Mhm,
respect this man. This man is living by his heart. He's living by his soul. He's
mhm.
doing the things that he wants to do in the world. Right? Men who came before us were wild in their adventure and the things that they took on and the challenges that they overcame. Imagine if all guys are like, well, just do what everybody else does.
Yeah, it does get like, I feel like there is a sense, to a degree within my generation, there's a sense of homogeneity and trying to
Mm,
exist as everyone else,
mhm.
because they might be like people might be afraid to step outside the norm a little bit and really just express who they are. I think there's a bit of that, and then there's like the whole like social acceptance aspect of it, wanting to be accepted by everyone else. So they feel like they have to sacrifice a part of themselves to be a
Mm.
part of the wider group.
Sure. That's gonna I'll tell you the dirty secret. That never changes. You just get to make the decision. I give a shit whether other people how other people view me or not.
Mhm.
It never gets easier. I know people in their 60s who are still concerned of what people think about them, what car they drive, what
Yeah.
job they have. And I know young people grappling with the same thing. Here's one of the beauties of getting a little older, Micah. You really care less and less and less about what other people think. And here's a really hard reason why, because you've seen a lot of people die
Yeah.
and go, oh shit, my friend died when he was 30. My friend died when he was 20. A friend of mine died a year ago of cancer at 55. That's young. It sounds old to younger people.
To me, it sounds very young.
It's very young. And when enough of that happens, you start to go, huh, I may actually not be here tomorrow. I'm just
Yeah.
going to do what I want. I'm going to live how I want. Now, there's social responsibility. We all live in an ecosystem. We don't just get to walk around like punching people and say like, "Oh, this is who I am at my deepest core." We don't get to do
Yeah.
that. But I get to study what I want. I get to produce what I want. I get to make the art I want if I can. Right? And I would say to the younger generation, you now have more tools at your disposal than anyone ever did in this earth. Like we're talking on a computer.
Mhm.
That didn't have laptops when I was growing up. We didn't have cell phones. You literally get to decide how you want to show up in the world every single day.
Yeah, 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 there's a lot more freedom with Gen Z. I will say that for my generation is what I'm seeing, which is good. There is a lot more variability in how men express themselves. So there isn't one way,
Mm,
even if like, in certain communities, like maybe like on at a college campus, it's less, it's like people might still feel like I have to adhere to these standards. But you see like content creators, they're just like, that's just who they are. Like they don't
mhm,
care.
mhm.
But yeah. another question I had is what has been, like, I guess, the feedback from the groups of men that you've had from uncivilized, like, from different cities or just in general?
Feedback around
Like, uncivilized or, like, the group.
what do they think about being in the groups?
Yeah.
They love it.
Mhm.
Because for a lot of guys, Micah, a lot of guys played on a team at some point in their lives or had a close group of friends, when they were younger or even in college. And you may
Mhm.
find this when you graduate. People spread out, people get
Mhm.
married, people have kids, people move, people do other stuff. And so a lot of times men end up feeling very isolated. I have the guys I work with, but now a lot of us work from home. I have the guys that I used to talk to in college, but now everybody has kids, so we get together once a week in Florida. And so, one, just having close, just friends has been amazing.
Yeah.
Secondly, and here's the big one: most men will go through a hard time at some point in their lives. A divorce, a breakup, a job loss, an illness, an accident, death of a parent. Like life is can be harsh. Most guys will go through that alone. Now, you
Yeah.
take guys in a men's group, and they still have to go through it. You don't get to skip the fact that your father died or that your kid's sick or you got fired. But you have
Mhm.
10 guys that are like, hey, guess what? We're going to be here with you through this entire thing. If you need support, if you need help, if you need a buddy, if you need to go out for a beer, if you want to go for a hike, you have people who are going to check on you and be with you in relationship with you throughout the whole process. And I'll tell you, having gone through something alone and now having groups of people with me, I go, hey, I'm in the shit right now. And I know that I'm going to
I've been the
wake up to
ringer.
3 messages of guys being like, hey, if you need me, call me. Hey, I'm coming by your house with a smoothie tomorrow. Hey, let's go for a hike on Wednesday. That is just a game changer, an
Yeah.
absolute game changer.
It does it does something not only, like, mentally, but, like, physically. I think I talked to, like, a researcher that said, like, the community or, like, the friends you have, something, like, in relation to, like, if you feel, like, supported, then it helps your immune system or something.
For sure. It
Yeah.
helps everything.
Yeah, it helps
It helps
yeah.
everything, everything, everything. And I'll be honest with you, I've been in a men's group for 6.5, 7 years now. Same group of guys. And we meet every 3 weeks. And we've done that for that many years. And we've been through, as you can imagine, we went through COVID together. We've been
Yeah.
through birth of children together, deaths of parents together. And just to know that at any point, those guys are a phone call away for whatever I need, whether it's to share a meme or to say like, "Hey, the worst thing in the world just happened to me," is so different. It's like this very baseline, the world is okay feeling that
Wow.
a
Yeah.
lot of communities used to have, but now we're not as communal.
Yeah, I was just gonna, like, talk about that, like, how, people, like, what you're even describing, people have, like, "What are you talking about? Like, this is not
Mhm.
I don't like, how do you even get there?" For me, being, like, sort of like the initiator, like, initially, it was initially,
Mhm.
it was very difficult to, um, develop that community, but as it got developed, I saw that more people were kind of wanted to be a part of it, and I think it was difficult because the cultural current is towards more, like, being so individualistic that you don't see community as a priority.
Mhm. Community used to be the number one priority.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know if it's just the US or if it's time or it's cell phones or it's whatever, but like my best friends as a kid were the other kids on my block,
Mhm.
right? And then the kids on the swim team. And then in college, the guys I swam with and did water polo with. And then afterwards, the guys I worked with. Like we are communal people. And then cell phones came around and iPhones came around and then COVID happened. And we all kind of retreated to our separate corners. And community wasn't the thing, but man, it's the number one thing. We
Yeah.
are supposed to know our neighbors. We're supposed to. We're designed that way. We're supposed to have close relationships with a number of people. We used to know the guy down at the supermarket who sold us our food. We knew his kids. We played with his kids. Now it's like I don't know anybody where I
Mhm.
go shopping or hang out. It's just a
Yeah.
different world, and there are repercussions.
Yeah, and then, like, with me, like, people like, I've gotten people say that, like, the way that you do college with, like, having all these people around you is not the norm, and I'm like, like, really? Because I guess, like, I got so used to having a community around me that I didn't really think it wasn't a thing until, you do research and you see, like, wow, there's quite a deficit in community, and it's like, yeah, it's shocking, but, like, for me that a person that lives with people around them, like, a lot, is kind of like living a different way wouldn't make sense to me. Yeah.
But it's an easy default for people to get to
Mhm.
because of tech, because of social media,
Yeah.
right? It's easy to go like, "Well, I spent the evening texting with my buddy." Yeah, but
Yeah, but
is
is
that
that
the
like
same as sitting down and laughing and being on the same couch or walking around the lake together or whatever it is that you're gonna do, playing basketball? We're designed to be in each other's presence, to
Mhm.
touch each other, to shake hands, to hug, to wrestle, to throw stuff to each other. We're not meant to be sitting here, and I understand where you and I are talking on a screen.
Mhm.
Beautiful. So amazing that we get to do this. And we need real, tangible humans in our lives, or else we get sick.
Yeah. Yeah, I think people can, like, I think that's where, like, the performance comes in, is that because we're kind of projecting what we see with, whether it's, like, through our phones or screens or our expectations of how we think we should be in the world, and that those we project those expectations, then we develop, like, kind of false selves. So then we don't know how to relax in the presence of other
Mhm.
men because we feel like we
Mhm.
have to compete. We feel like they're, like, judging us. So really, it's like that those barriers with phones plus internal expectations kind of create, like, this, I guess, like, anxiety, if you will, about being like other guys.
For sure. The week before COVID, the lockdown happened, Micah, I told everybody in the uncivilized nation, which is 300 men deep, I was like, here's your assignment for the week. If you don't know your neighbors on each side of your house, go shake hands with them just to do it. I had no idea COVID was coming.
Oh yes.
Just had no idea. But remember thinking, I want to know my neighbors because who's the first person that, if your dog gets out, if there's smoke coming out of a window, if there's some fucking weirdo in your backyard, who's going to see that and tell you? Your neighbor. You
Yeah.
might as well know their name. You should know their name. And so I had 300 guys do that. And then lockdown happened and no one left their house for a couple of years. But even back then, that was what, 2020.
Yeah.
It
Gosh. Oh
was
my gosh.
we were getting away from community back then.
Yeah.
I think because of cell phones and tech, and now we have AI, and now we have all these other things that we interface with, but we don't have, what Francis Weller calls primary satisfactions. Primary satisfactions are watching a sunset, sitting around a fire, joking with your best friend from childhood while eating lunch, hanging out with your partner, making love, eating dinner with a group of people. Like, these are things that people have been doing since the beginning of time that are beautiful. These are things people do on vacation. These are
Yeah.
things people do like, "Oh, I'll never go back to scrolling TikTok ever again until 3 days from now when I get home from my vacation." Like, primary satisfactions reduce anxiety on a level that I don't think is cerebral.
Yeah.
It's soul level, it's gut level.
Yeah. Yeah. The question is, like, are we, like, do we see those as, like, priorities, or just as, like, wants to have whenever, like, we're done with work, or yeah.
Now they're bonuses, right? They're the cherry on top
Yeah.
if we get to them. But I
Yeah.
tell you, I spent a lot of time in Costa Rica, and one of the beauties there is that hundreds of people will walk out onto the beach at sunset. Hundreds. You have a whole line of people on the beach. And that's
Yeah.
none of, maybe people were taking pictures, but most people aren't on their phones. They're just talking with other humans or they're watching the sunset. No one's at home watching television. No one's
Mhm.
on their computers. They're literally just in awe of the sun going down behind the ocean. That is a real different way of living that we have just gotten away from here in the US.
Yeah, it sounds slower, sounds more, more mindful, and that's kind of like that's something that I, like, aim to do, is to, if, even, like, as a therapist, I don't want to, work so much, or I don't wanna just work so much in my career that I can't enjoy, very day-to-day things. And, me as a person, I'm very, like, I'm not very fast-paced, and, working within those limits, I realize that I part of, like, my hobbies is, doing things in nature like hiking or gardening. Those
Mm,
help to nourish the soul, and I feel like
mhm.
being able to connect, with nature and those things, motivates you to kind of get away from, like, technology so much. Not that technology is, like, bad, but it's, like, the balance.
Yeah, we need technology. One of my early teachers described technology as like a chainsaw. It's like, it's
Mhm.
great if you need to cut down trees, but you don't wanna have a chainsaw running all the damn time in your brain, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we've gotten to with tech, is we can't go to the bathroom without our phones. You see a family of 5 sitting in a restaurant, and all 5 people are on a separate phone. Like, this is why you're supposed to come and break bread together and eat together, so you talk about your day. I have very intentional friends who won't let their kids have cell phones at the table. It's like, "Hey, every night as a family for 90 minutes, we sit and we talk and we eat." Because that is actually human. That is the most base level thing humans have been doing since the beginning of time. That is how we connect. That will lower your anxiety. That will lower your depression. You will walk the earth knowing I have people who know me, people who care about me, even if there's squabbles at the table, right? Or arguments. It's still there's people around me. This is a
Yeah.
big thing for all generations right now, Micah, is this return to some level of relationality that isn't just a text, right?
Yeah. I think
It's
that's
human connection.
Yeah, my consensus is that post-COVID, people because we've been so, like, isolated from other people, that we're, like, 2026, people are realizing, like, the very importance of even just friendship or connection itself. In my experience, I'm seeing, like, the freshman, class coming in, they're way more social than my freshman class was in
Mm,
college.
hmm,
So, that gives me hope that, like,
yeah,
okay, like, and I guess there's, like, just varying different reasons why, they're more open. I just see, that class, like, very, like, people-oriented, not so into their own bubbles, if you will.
mm, mhm,
So, I have, like, I noticed this year that I'm mentoring a lot of freshmen, and I'm seeing them kind of, um be more open to connection in a way that
beautiful.
my class wasn't. I guess because class of '27, my class, they're more like we just got out of COVID when we were
Mhm,
seniors, so we kind of had 1 year of not COVID, and
right, right.
that kind of
Yeah, that must be so hard.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I think I think people are starting to kind of rebound from that,
Mm,
but I think we have to be, like, intentional, like you said, we have to be intentional about our building community,
mhm,
because as a result of COVID and being in that, we've become so our default is to just do everything by ourselves. So
mhm.
now we have to kind of be intentional about getting out of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But it seems like, and which I'm excited to do in my career is lead men's groups, because it seems like, the ones that you've done have been beneficial. You mentioned that men, like, post-college, they might, struggle to find their community,
Mhm,
and talking with therapists and, like, psychologists, young men are starting to struggle with that, like, in college. So they're
mhm.
struggling with that in college. How are you going to help that, like, post-college? So I think it's more of on a fundamental level, how can we show men to be intentional about the people around them?
Yeah, we just have to remember that we're meant to do life with other people.
Yeah.
And for guys, if you're looking for community, who are the people you wanna be around? Who are the
Uh-huh.
people you want to shape you and guide you and encourage you? Right? You go to work and we just get given work people, but are they people whose lives you want to emulate? Are they the
Yeah.
people who are going to mentor you and help you? These are really important, really important decisions to make. I have found that most intentional men's communities are working on you have some wounds and trauma you need to work through. They're honest. They'll show the mirror up to a guy. And then on the other end, it's like, hey, you need to start getting out there and putting some elbow grease in here. You need to bust your ass. And if you say you want this thing, but you're not really doing the steps to get it, we're going to hold you to that same standard.
Yeah, it's like
That's a
being
beautiful
accountable.
way for a man to live, to be both challenged and held. It's really
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, I think it starts there where because a lot of, some there's some aspects of trauma that men hold that sometimes can stop them from making authentic connections. And then it's not until like people feel safe or people feel that they're really like understood by other men where they can really be themselves in the company of other men. But at the same time, yeah, accountability is it's a huge thing.
It's a huge thing.
Yeah, it is. And, it's initially like for me, people holding me accountable, it was a bit like challenging at first, but now it's like,
Mm,
you know, these people want me to grow. These people want me to be my best self. So I have to accept that. And I also have to kind of listen. If I want to have like a healthier life, I can't just get defensive about it all the time.
sure, sure. Definitely. I'll also say this, Micah. Guys are fun.
Yeah.
Guys are really fun. We come up with cool shit to do. I've gone on a lot of adventures because guys have invited me onto adventures. I've done
Mm,
a lot of really fun stuff in my life because guys have been like, "Hey, we're going to go do this really fun thing. Do you want to come with us?" Right? So I think we forget too that even if it's intentional and conscious and beautiful and connected and relational, which are wonderful things, you get a group full of guys together and there's also going to be some shenanigans. There's going to be
yeah.
some bullshitting. There's going to be some fun, just some straight up fun. And
Yeah.
we need that.
I I feel like for me, like every weekend or every week, I'm usually having people like we just go into the city and we just do whatever. And I think people kind of forgot like how to just like explore.
Right?
Like
What city are you closest to?
I'm Pittsburgh.
Oh, right, that's right, that's right, that's right.
Yeah. So
Yeah, there's
people
all kinds of stuff to explore.
Yeah, and people kinda, like, forgot, like, to just like, if I say to my friends, like, "We're just gonna go in the city," there's no specific plan, it's just we're just gonna go and see what finds us. Because that's, like, the type of
Yeah.
person I am, I like to explore, like, anything, so that's just, like I feel like that's what's needed.
Yeah, let's go wander around the city.
Yeah, I just
So when you find the best stuff, unique stores, restaurants, a little bit of
yeah,
yeah, you get lost. Yeah, I love it.
yeah. It's been, like, it's allowed me to get close to the people that I know. I think I think there's a lot of ways um, people have to invite vulnerability w in the whenever people are hanging out, 'cause there's people already have, like you said, we have, like, our basketball group or group of guys, but I feel like people have to someone has to be the initiator
Mhm.
and say and kinda steer the conversation more deeper. It's like it's very risky, difficult at
Mm,
first, but everyone is also kinda waiting,
yeah,
and no one's really gonna, like, take the lead, they're just waiting for everyone else.
yeah. But I've found with so many groups, as soon as one guy opens up, it gives permission to every other guy to open up.
Yeah,
And it just takes that first guy saying, "Hey, this is what's real for me right now." And then boom, 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 boom. It's like dominoes dropping. Every other guy has something to say. That's usually so backed up in them. They're like pent up. They're waiting. You know, it's
yeah,
like the
the
closet that's full of
stress.
stuff, the cartoon closet that when you open the door, all the junk falls out. Like guys have so much pent up stuff.
Yes, I feel like it's that, that stress of carrying things, and I don't know, like, for me, it's a little bit more I don't know if I'll say natural. I guess because like, this is, like, my career of being a therapist or whatever, but, like, it seems like, um, people just kind of not naturally open up, but because of my own vulnerability, people start to, like, just, this the floor is theirs, and they just kind of
Mhm.
say whatever, and that's good, like, it's not like, I feel like people shouldn't apologize for it. They shouldn't say, "Sorry,
Yeah.
like, I said too much," or, "Sorry,
Yeah. Yeah.
no, it's just don't apologize. Don't apologize for being human.
Exactly.
But, yeah, this is, uh I feel like we have to do, like, a part 2 or something. There's, like, so much to talk about.
Sure. Anytime.
But yeah, so do you have anything else that you wanted to, go over before we kind of head out?
I hope every man finds men's work, Micah.
I do too.
It has been so instrumental, and I know I'm someone who's like, I found it, it changed my life drastically, and so now my job is to help men find it, but I have thousands and thousands of men in my life who are like, I remember my life before men's work, and I remember
Yeah.
my life after men's work, and it's not religious, and it's not weird, it's
Yeah.
just being connected and intentional.
People might like look at it as like, is this a cult?
Yeah, yeah, it's not a cult. I'm not gonna like
Yeah.
suddenly and then now here's Jesus. We're not doing
Yeah.
that. It's literally just I got around other guys. I talked about stuff that's real. I asked for support. I learned how to be relational. I created a vision. I know what I'm doing with my life. And I'm walking the path of connection, power, competency, strength, purpose, presence, responsibility. Like those are beautiful things that when men adopt them, our whole lives get better.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
watch men
Yeah.
suffer and go, "Oh, you don't know where you're going, or you haven't dealt with this thing in the past yet. So you're drinking, smoking, sleeping with everybody, doing cocaine." And you're like, "I don't know. I just can't figure out why things aren't working
Yeah.
right now."
I Speaking of substances, a huge thing with my generation Gen Z is weed and vaping is what I've noticed.
Mm,
Yeah, I think like drinking has definitely gone down
definitely
statistically,
down. Yeah.
but like other substances are kind of mainstream now.
Yeah, definitely. And that it'll kill you.
Yeah.
Or make you dumb. Or it'll help you avoid something that when you work through it, you won't wanna get high, you won't wanna vape. You wanna live a cleaner, more actualized life.
Yeah.
That's the real thing. To be free of any encumbrance like that is beautiful. Men seek freedom. We orient towards freedom. And so when we have stuff that's holding us down or holding us back, intuitively we feel that. We feel the weight of it. But we won't get to the root of why. Like, why are you getting high every day? Is that how you really wanna go through your life, is high every day? Do you really? When you ask, like, an
Yeah.
honest question, do you really wanna be sucking on a vapey pacifier for the you're not a baby. Why are you
Uh-huh.
doing this? "Oh, because I'm anxious, because I'm dealing with grief." Okay, then work with the anxiety, work with the
Yeah.
grief.
I think a lot of people are afraid to even a lot of people are afraid of dealing with their grief or the process of, going through like anxiety.
For sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
But men's work, like my hope is that it's the future.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's my whole gig, man. I bet my future on it.
Yeah, let's see like how men's couch grows. I'm surprised of how much it grew within the past year. Let's see see
Keep
how
pushing it.
much. Yeah.
The men are hungry for it. Keep going. Thanks for
Yeah.
having me on, brother. I
Yeah,
appreciate you.
this has been amazing. If you ever want to do this again, you know how to find me, email me or your assistant can reach out to me.
Awesome. Thanks, Micah. I appreciate you. All
Bye.
right, take care.